welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of August 25th, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez, and with me today, two individuals for now.
Yo, I'm Benjamin Daniel Wallace, and I'm here now, but who knows?
Devon Kraft. I'm also here.
Excellent.
But he's committed. He's committed to the bit. I'm
Yeah,
not
you're
so
iffy.
Yeah, so like right off the bat here, one of our pet rats, we found some tumors on her on Sunday, and so very quickly, like right now, she's undergoing some surgery and to get them removed and to see how bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I may at any moment need to hop off and drive to go pick her up and then handle rat after post-surgery care.
Jeez, man.
which could include, and is almost certainly going to include, staying up all night in shifts to ensure, like with her, in order to ensure that she doesn't like mess with the site of surgery, too much.
Right. Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
How does that work with a rat? Like, can you put some kind of cone around them? Or is it different? I don't know.
No, it's gonna be like actually just being present and being with her, right? So like the plan is, I think the way that we're working it out is that since my wife falls asleep harder than I do, like it takes her longer, so she's gonna stay up till like 2, and then I'll take the 2 to 2 on shift, and yeah, and
That's
just
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably gonna like mean that I get I bring the cage down, play some video games, watch some science fiction TV,
Sure.
keep an eye on her, be chill with her, So it's not like theoretically it shouldn't be a lot. It's just a matter of being present and noticing what she's doing, and gently discouraging her from doing things that would make her medical issues worse.
Where were the tumors?
They were right on her upper chest.
Upper chest. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So Noodles is what we like to affectionately call the fat rat.
Okay.
and has been that way for a while. We've been working on her diet for a bit. So like we cut out nuts and carbs from her diet, and but she's still been gaining weight. And this weekend, just as we were, we clean the rat cages weekly, and so we went and picked her up, and oh hey, there's these little nodules, kind of hard nodules on her chest that my wife noticed, and yeah. So it turns out it wasn't fat; it was a tumor, and
it's a tumor.
It is. Yeah, it turns out the kindergarten cop had it right in this case. So.
We just got the okay. I don't know if I've talked about this in the podcast with Annabelle, our little beagle who's super old now, and she's got lots of growths, fatty tumors and stuff that the vet has been like, if it's not bothering her, we'll just leave it, But now some of them are starting to bother her, and then the vet heard a heart murmur and was like, we need to go get a ultrasound of her heart to see if she has like a serious heart problem as well, because if she does, then she can't go under anesthesia, and then we'll have to blah blah blah. So that happened like a few last week or the week before, I don't remember. I took her to get her her heart looked at, and they're like, yeah, there's a little murmur in there. And like they described the whole thing, like this certain valve isn't closing all the way, and it's causing some backflow, but it's not very serious. It's there. Maybe it'll get worse. Maybe it won't. But they cleared her for surgery, so that was pretty cool. Went back to the vet, told them all that, and they're like, great. Well, we can get you signed up for a surgery now to get rid of some of these lumps and bumps. So we're going to do that eventually, sooner rather than later, we hope. But there's just so much going on. I don't know how we're going to squeeze it in. And like you, Ben, after the surgery is like when the work is.
Yeah.
Because you got to make sure. I mean, at least there's cones, but she'll have something on her ear, her chest, her leg, her opposite elbow, front leg. There's going to be a lot of little bits, so I'm not sure how we're going to do that. Yeah, it's a mystery.
Yeah, man. Well, it's a good thing that we're not medical professionals because
no, it's not
we
up to
have no
us.
clue.
Indeed.
Yeah, man. Oh, well, I'm always there for you if you need any help with the care.
Oh, thank you so much. And I will do nothing with your rat. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, Steven, you have to reciprocate.
Feel free to.
You have to.
Feel free to text me.
It's the law.
Text me in the middle of the night, and if I'm awake, I'll text you back. But I think that's about the extent of the help you're going to get from me.
Oh my gosh.
Poor rats. That sucks. Devon, do you have any tumor news for us?
No tumor news.
Great.
Good. All right.
Excellent.
Yeah. Excellent.
Sorry, Ben.
Let's write that down.
Kind of cut you off. You're about to say something else about tumors.
Oh, I mean,
something.
The thing is that with rats, like we know when you get any pet, you know that you're going to need to deal with end of life stuff.
Yeah.
And with rats, that stuff comes a lot quicker than most other mammalian pets.
Yeah.
So, we
2
knew.
to 3 years. Is that about their lifespan?
Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
old is
So we're
Noodles
about a
now?
year and a half in.
Okay.
Yeah, about a year and a half.
All right. So Noodles is getting into old age, and things are starting to go a little weird.
Yeah.
that
So
happens.
it's not entirely unexpected. It's just like this is the time.
Yeah.
So
Oof. All right.
yeah,
Well,
man.
Devon, I see you have written here Boston. Just the word Boston, like the band, or like what's going on?
Ooh, good pull. I hope so.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
We went to Boston this
Ah, boo.
weekend. Ben and I, we met up with Tony and Marilyn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was our annual trip to a city to watch the Giants play.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. We did what we usually do, which is mostly going to like bars and restaurants. We did go to some of the historical sites. Took a tour of Boston on one of those. I guess they call it a duck tour because it's a amphibious type of vehicle. So most of it is driving around the city, and then at the end, towards the end, they go in the water and kind of drive around the river and show you the city from the river, and then go back on land and drop you off. And then so that was fun. Got to see more of the city. We also that same night did a ghost tour, which I'd never done before, and that was half like on a vehicle driving around and half walking around cemeteries.
Oh, like car ghosts?
Yeah. Well, so, and I didn't know exactly what to expect. I'm sure there's a wide range of how these go. This one was definitely more towards the like produced side of it. So like our tour guide was in character as someone who died, and like there was another, there was actually a couple other people working there who, like, one we met up with in the graveyard. She's like an old woman telling ghost stories, and she has like this little doll, and she's like, my doll's gonna try to get you. And I mean, she did really well. Our main tour guide, he was giving it his all, but he was not the best actor, so it was a little unfortunate. That woman was really good, and there was another guy. I don't know if he was just there to help out or what, but he didn't say a whole lot, but he was in character, and it was interesting. And from what I could tell, the stories are at least based on true events, like, so and so was murdered here. And, there's a spot in Boston where, like, kind of sparked the revolution where some British soldiers were killed by a mob. Oh, no, sorry. The British soldiers killed people in the mob because they shot into the crowd.
Yeah.
And things like that. So I think they're based on true events, but then the whole, and they're still haunting these streets or whatever. It's like, okay.
Well, how many ghosts did you see exactly?
0.
Oh.
So
Damn.
actually, it reminds me of an interesting aspect of this because we had actually gone to the same, because there's like 2 cemeteries like in downtown Boston you can walk through, and they're like old timey, cemeteries. The gravestones are very close to each other, and they're old and weathered, and it's it looks like a historical site.
Yeah.
And earlier in the day, my friend Tony is like, "Well, you don't think this is real, do you?" I'm like, "I mean, they say they're cemeteries. They look like cemeteries." He's like, "I don't know. They look kind of fake." And then that night, while we were going through the ghost story thing, I was looking at everything. I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to like go to his side. This is a little too like all the headstones look exactly the same. They're the same shape and the same width, and they're like very thin. They do look weathered. You can't see hardly any of the writing on them, which is fine. Makes sense because of history. But they're also really close to each other and overlapping at times. And then there are gravestones used as to make the path. Like there's the path that's made out of bricks, but next to the path to kind of line the path are like broken headstones, like put in to like create like a wall, like a very small like wall, but a little. And I was just like, well, and we can walk anywhere in the cemetery. We can walk on the graves like themselves, or they don't look well maintained. I'm just like, if this was real in a historical site, I do feel like we wouldn't be able to just like trample on people's graves. But also, I looked it up, and I'm like, there's no indication that it's fake. And it's like, I'm like, I guess it's just a really poorly maintained historical cemetery. And if you don't think about it, it looks legit. But if you think about it, you're like, but why don't we take better care of it? And it's just...
Well, because they've been there for like 250 years, man.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, I know it's real because what else would it be? Like, I don't think they took the time and effort at some point in history to like actually build this to fool people. But it is kind of like, I mean, I called us both flat earthers. I'm like, I think Tony and I are flat earthers in this, to where we're like, I don't know, it just seems a little too perfect, a little too like set up for Halloween, like.
Well, doesn't it make more sense to go the other way around? Like the cemetery is so old and it's been around for so long. This is what people's ideal image of what a cemetery is. And so all the fake cemeteries are actually look like this because this was the cemetery that they all knew for years and years and years.
Well, and I was also thinking, I'm like, billions of people have died in history, and it's not like we can take care of every gravesite or the whole earth would just be gravesites. It's like at some point you got to let go of the dead and be like, hey, at least they had a gravestone at some point that their family could see, but it's not like their descendants really identify with them anymore and come and like mourn over their grave. There were some famous ones. Sam Adams, actually, his grave site was there, but he had like a really big like memorial type thing to denote where he was. And there's a bar right across the street, which we did have drinks at earlier that day, and their slogan is, have a cold Sam Adams across the street from a cold Sam Adams. And so we did
that. That's cool. I like that.
Oh my god. Wow.
There was that. We saw the game. Fenway is a cool, historical ballpark. Other than that, I mean, it was really just like walking around, drinking and eating.
So you went to the great green jewel of the Commonwealth? You went to Diamond City?
I did mention to them, I'm like, there's what's it called? Outfield game? Fallout game.
Outfield?
Yeah, I don't know. No, I said Fallout. I did right now, I forgot the name, but at the time I did say Fallout. But I said that. So
well, last time I went to Boston, which was when Martine was pregnant with our first kid, I think. It was a long time ago. when we went on like a walking tour, and a lot of it I was like, I recognize this. I've seen this. I feel like I've been here before from playing Fallout 4, because it's, you know, Boston is the main city, so all of the like historical places, like they did a good job on those in game, and it's like the bits in between that are, you know, they fudge the facts, but like the old State House and the Freedom Trail, and there's some grave or some cemeteries and stuff as well. And then when we walked by them in real life, I was like, oh, yep. I knew that was going to be there. That's so weird. It was the weirdest feeling to feel like you've been somewhere that you've never been before. It is bizarre. But that's Boston for you, I guess. All right. This weekend, shoot, I had an epic gaming weekend. This was like months in the making. Maybe not months plural, but so as I've said on the show before, I have a weekly role-playing group led by friend of the show, Greg. I'm sorry, Christina's husband.
Jeez, yeah, this is like Candyman levels of. If you keep saying his name, he's gonna show up
appear. Yeah,
yeah.
He's gonna. He's right behind me. Anyway, so I was invited into that group. Just a quick recap. And they had been playing together for years. I was invited in for a D&D game. We ended up playing for a whole year. It was a ton of fun. You know, made friends with everyone. But the thing is that there's one guy lives down in LA, one guy lives in Colorado, one guy lives, I don't even know where, like Mississippi or something. I don't know, Arkansas, somewhere.
Van by the river.
Somewhere far away. And now, as of this weekend, I've met all of them in real life. Two of the guys came to visit for the weekend. And so we just had a gaming weekend. On Friday, we played Marvel Zombies, which is a Zombicide style board game. And it, you know, Marvel themed, of course. So we were all superheroes. And then we had to fight a bunch of zombified superheroes, which is pretty cool. I was Magneto, and so I got to do magnet stuff. It's a super fun game. It's kind of like you just kind of chuck some dice and have fun. It's not overly complicated. We played like an intro game for like an hour and a half, maybe, just to like learn the basics. I had played it before, but the two of the guys hadn't. And then after that, we went like on a full on, like, all right, now let's play for real. And the scenario was like, you're at the X mansion and everyone starts at like the steps of the mansion, and we're trying to escape. And so you have to go into the mansion, and then there's a bunch of rooms. There's like, I don't know, 8, 9 rooms, something like that. And every room has a chance of like zombies spawning in or zombie heroes spawning in. And those are like oh, here comes zombie Thor. Like, and they're really hard, like bosses. And there's like target priority. So if one of them show up, you have to fight it before you fight the other zombies. Anyways, super fun game. We ended up having to like search around the house till we found a key, went outside to maybe look like a garden, what do you call it? Like a greenhouse. And then that opened that door, and that's where the car keys were. And then we had to go over to the garage where the car was, and that was the exit to leave. And we ended up doing it. We ended up winning. It was touch and go a few times. There is no like healing, and if one person dies, the game's over. So the stakes are there. Anyways, that was Friday. That was super fun. And then on Saturday, that was my time to shine, because I set up a Dungeon Crawl Classics funnel, which I know I've talked about this on the show before. Super quick. Everyone makes 0 level characters. You have like 3 or 4 of them, and you know that they're going to die on their way through this quest. It's called a funnel, because you funnel down from having a bunch of people to only a few people. And then whoever survives at the end, you take those characters and then create your level 1 characters to then play the game like proper, I guess. But now you have like a backstory. Like, how come I'm a wizard? Well, I was a peasant, and then there was this big castle, and these beastmen came down and kidnapped a bunch of our townsfolk, and so we got a mob together to go take them back, and now me and one other dude survived, which is actually what happened. Only 2 people survived to the very end of this thing. We played for like 6 hours, I believe. It was like a 6-hour session. Everyone started off with 3 characters, and we played it over at Greg's house, and he has a TV in his game room that he puts down on his gaming table, and so that we had a digital tabletop. So I was running Roll20, which is an online gaming system that we use to play every week because everyone's in different places, and so we're familiar with how that works a bit. And so we had that. So all the maps were all set up and ready to go, and we're on the TV. Got a bunch of minis, put them on there as all of our peasants, and then any other doors or trees or whatever else Greg wanted to add to the scene. And we just played, man. And we played, and people died, and people got cool stuff. And at the very end, there's like a boss fight at the end, right? And at this boss fight, this big chaos lord shows up, and it's got like 20 hit points, which is no big deal. But all of the characters have between like 1 and 3 hit points usually. So most of these peasants, these level 0 characters, are taken out with 1 hit. Some of them have a few more hit points, and they might be able to absorb 2 hits. But it's pretty much, if you get hit, you're probably toast. And there was, I want to say, maybe 5 or 6 characters at this end fight, and they took down the main boss. And the way the scenario was written was like the main boss, his body melts back into magma and he dissolves, but he drops his flail and his armor. And then it says, and this is all in the GM notes, it says like, hey, if anyone tries to pick these up within 5 rounds, which a round is 10 seconds, it's like a combat thing. But so if within a minute after this guy dies, if someone tries to go pick up his armor or his weapon, he comes back to life as like a huge burst of flame, and everyone within 10 feet gets like 1d10 damage. And I think I rolled a 7. So everyone within 10 feet of one of the dudes, one guy, I was like, oh, hey, so he dropped this armor and this weapon. Anyone gonna try to pick it up? And one guy was like, I run over and I grab the armor. I was like, great. An enormous gout of flame shoots up, and everyone, and that took out everyone but 2 people. So like everyone had like a couple of survivors, and at the very end, only 2 players had 1 character left. One, because he had moved far enough away from where that fire burst was going to be, so he survived. That happened to be Greg's character. And then another character, a guy, he called him Charlemagne, which he had taken a potion which gave him a bunch of temporary hit points, so he was able to absorb the fire and stay alive. Everyone else is dead. So it was a very successful game. Towards the end, the last hour or so was pretty rough because we'd been gaming all day, and we took breaks every now and then and stuff, but it was a long day. It was hot. It was real hot over here over the weekend. So, it's like low 90s, but we're in this little game room with no AC, just like fans blowing and stuff. And so it was a pretty sweaty day, but a ton of fun. And then Sunday, the dude from Colorado, he's like, hey, I want to run a short RPG session for you guys. And it's going to be running the system called, I believe it's called We Deal in Lead. But it's essentially Gunslinger, like the Dark Tower, Stephen King book, Gunslinger, where everyone's a gunslinger. The world has, quote, moved on, right? So everything's broken and dead, but it's all kind of Old West. And everyone's got these guns, and we just kind of played this. I want to say it was about a 3 to 4 hour session, maybe. We had 4 gunslingers, roll into this town. They're looking for a dude, immediately get attacked. We're shooting guns and doing all this stuff, and then these mutant scorpions come out at a certain point, and we got to fight them. And anyways, that was a ton of fun. It was kind of fun to get back into the like Dark Tower gunslinger, way of thinking about things. Like everything's dead and gone and different, and we this town that we rolled into, we immediately went over to the tavern, the bar or whatever it is, saloon I guess would be a better term. And there was a robot behind the counter, just saying like, "Hey, what can I get you?" And they're like, and then everyone starts talking like, "I want a whiskey, I want to have this, I want to have a beer." And then he like turns around to the shelf behind him, which everything's just broken and moldy and disgusting, and turns back around and just kind of repeats the same line over again. So, just broken robot that we found that my character ended up ripping its processor out because he was a killer. Anyways, that was We Deal in Lead. Marvel Zombies, Dungeon Crawl Classics Funnel, We Deal in Lead, all weekend. It was amazing. I am done chucking dice for a while. Until Thursday when we meet up for our weekly game session. So,
All right.
that was my weekend. Any questions?
Ooh, here. Hey, over here. I'm over here. Trent Krim, the Independent.
Yes.
Have you watched any Ted Lasso?
Yeah, actually. We watched the first episode of season, was it 4? This
4,
newest,
yeah.
It's interesting. It's like, okay.
It gets back to the old show. Like it gets back to the normal show after the first episode.
Okay, all right. The first episode was like a ease you back into the world kind of episode.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
All right.
Well, Ben, you got a couple other things. We have a little more time. Was there one other thing on your list there you want to talk about?
Yeah. My friends, has Strange New Worlds got too strange?
I've heard about the newest episode.
There are something about puppets.
Yeah, they had their puppet episode, and it was interesting because as I was watching it, I kind of realized, oh my God, when I talk about how much I love Farscape, do people think I'm talking about this?
Yes.
Because yeah. And I'm like, oh, I need to find a very different way of discussing how amazing Farscape is than to just say it is a science fiction show with Jim Henson puppets. Because there are some great things about it. I really appreciated Lo Truglio from Brooklyn Nine-Nine playing an Orion in it. It was
cool.
That was really, really nice. The designs of the puppets are really, really great. Big shout out to whoever it was that worked on Chief Engineer Pelia's puppet, and her hair is played by Carol Keane. Her hair is
played by
just,
Carol King.
Yes.
The actress who plays the character has wild and frizzy hair, and they were really great at transitioning that into a puppet hair.
I've seen the
but
puppet. It does look pretty funny.
Yeah,
as a Muppet should.
Right. Yes. But it wasn't for me, and it's kind of odd. Like, one of the things I've heard about the making of the show is that they, like, in the writers' room, they were asked, like, the showrunners were asked, like, hey, what is for this season? And they're like, well, what we did was we opened it up to all the cast and all the writers and said, pitch us your wildest ideas, and then we'll try to make it Star Trek shaped.
Okay. All right. That's one way to do it.
I could imagine that would make a show that I would very much enjoy. But out of the 5 episodes this season, I'd say I've enjoyed one of them.
Is this the last season?
Oops. No, they have one more 6-episode short season after this that they've already filmed. And so it's but this season is very much like every episode is very different, very strange, and I wouldn't mind these sort of things, except it's like one after another, and there's no like chance to breathe in between them. Weird episodes happen on Star Trek, and that's totally fine. But when you have a season of 26 episodes, having a few a season is like that's a nice little change of pace. But when you have a season of 10 episodes and half of them have been this out there, it's it's a little challenging, especially when this is the show that was supposed to be the like return to form. The entire concept about this show that was pitched to all the Star Trek fans was, hey, we know that you didn't like Picard, and you didn't like Discovery, and you didn't like all the other stuff that we've been doing new. Here is our attempt at taking a different approach to a classic Star Trek show. And the last 2 seasons have not been that. And that's and it's kind of weird. I'm kind of like, well, why'd you throw away that idea? You know?
Because making Star Trek's hard, I guess.
I could imagine that it may not be any more or less hard than making the show that they're making.
Got it.
Yeah. A show named Star Trek needed to be made. This is an interesting way to go about that. But I mean, if you look online, you see as many people, especially with the puppet episode, that are like, "That was incredible," as there were people going, that's not for me."
Very divisive.
Yeah.
Well,
which good,
yeah.
right? In some ways, just kind of it's weird that there's a scene in this which is meant to be an homage to the death scene in Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, but it's played for laughs in a way that really feels like it's trying to make you embarrassed for being an actual Star Trek fan. And that's really strange.
Ben,
I kind of feel like, yeah.
It's called Strange New Worlds, not Normal New Worlds. All right, it's in the title.
Yeah, but so it is also called Strange New Worlds. Why are they? Why doing a callback to a thing that doesn't yet happen in the universe?
Because Star Trek normal old crap wasn't going to sell.
I could use some Star Trek normal old crap after this, after the last few episodes. But
little rewatch palate cleanser.
yeah. But anyhow, I don't know. But Lo Truglio from Brooklyn Nine-Nine was a very nice surprise to see in the show, and it was super good. Awesome. That was great.
Sweet.
You know.
All right, I'm gonna talk just super fast about one more thing, and then we can take our break, and that is Lanterns on HBO Max.
Yeah, that's a show.
The Green Lantern show. It's really good.
Excellent.
I don't know what else to say about it other than that. The acting's top notch. The story's incredible. It is very adult. It is made for adults. You could boil it down to like a cop procedural where one cop is like on his way out and is training the rookie, and the rookie has like tremendous potential, but the old cop isn't given over the magic ring yet. And while all that is happening, there's some kind of murder happening and aliens are involved. So
okay.
Yeah. I had no idea what to expect. I watched the trailer for it and was like, that looks interesting. And then people, of course, the internet screamed about it like, it's not green enough. Whatever.
Yeah. I had a very I had like a bit of a love affair with like a particular run of Green Lantern comics. I read like 45 of them in a row. I was like, this is so good. And so like when I saw the trailer for this and it evoked nothing of that, I just kind of said, I'll check it out if people really like it, I guess. But glad to hear that you really like it. That's great.
I do really like it. It's I'm trying to find like a word to really describe it, to really boil down to its essence. But I think I don't want to say gritty because that comes with a lot of connotations, but it is a little gritty. It's got some grit.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's also trying to fill it's feeling like a particular niche in this new DC universe. This Green Lantern niche, which we've already seen a Green Lantern, of course, in the Superman movie, and I think he showed up other places. I think he has, which is Nathan Fillion's character. I don't even know which one he is anymore, like Lantern wise. But so he has the ring. He does incredible with it. But this show is set in 2016, many years before, and that's Hal Jordan has it. He's had it since like he's had the ring since like the 80s, or perhaps late 80s, early 90s or so. And usually the ring decides who's going to be the next person, but there's some other intermediary called the Guardians, which they haven't really explained what that is yet. I'm sure the comic book people know. But the Guardians have said, oh, hey, this other guy, John? John Stewart. Yeah, that's the name, John Stewart.
Yeah.
They're like, we pick him to be next. So Hal Jordan, you train John Stewart to be the next Green Lantern. But we know that the next Green Lantern is Nathan Fillion's. So something happens, and we don't know what. And there's, as far as I know, there's not multiple rings. Like, this is still like a one Green Lantern for this sector of the galaxy situation, right? And Earth is like a backwater, and why is the Green Lantern hanging out there so much? We don't know.
I mean, I guess
there's reasons.
Different comics have different reasons for having multiple Earth-based Green Lanterns.
Yes,
you know.
I think they're sticking with the one this time around. And there was a trailer for like in the weeks ahead, and Nathan Fillion's Lantern is going to be in the show as well. So something happens. Also, at the very end of the first episode is a flash forward to 2026. So the show starts off in It does start off in 1986, or maybe is it 96? Maybe it's 1996, and then it goes to 2016 for the majority of the show, and at the very end, a little 2026 stinger of like, here's how this is all going to end, kind of. And then the second episode, which just premiered, is all in the 2016 timeline. So that's where I assume that's where the majority of the show is going to be, which means there's no Superman yet. There's because at the beginning of Superman, they said, oh yeah, there have been people with powers for years and years, but only recently has stuff started kicking off, and this is part of that. So what my feeling has been, the Green Lantern run that you read and enjoyed is like the stuff that happened off screen in the show. Like, all of that has happened to Hal Jordan. He's been on his adventures. He's done a bunch of stuff, but now he's like at the end of his career. And the guy that got to play him, Kyle Chandler, amazing. He's fantastic in this role. He was like born to play it. It feels so natural and so real. So anyways, Lanterns on HBO Max, I believe it's called now. If you're a DC guy, this is a must watch. This is really good TV. And Devon, not made for children, made for adults. So you'll like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take ourselves a little break. And when we come back, we're going to do a little future or now.
No.
So we'll be right back. Hey, you. Yeah, you sitting there listening to this for free, like some kind of podcast freeloader. Look, I'm not saying you owe us, but if you enjoy our deep dives into AI, space, and comic book mayhem, maybe toss a coin to your podcasters. Join our Patreon, get into our Discord, grab some exclusive content, and finally achieve that deep, satisfying sense of superiority over your non-Patreon listeners. Just imagine their sad, uninformed little faces. Patreon.com/Science Faction Podcast, because knowledge is power, and power is best hoarded behind a paywall. And we're back.
Heyo.
How's it going?
Hi.
And a big thank you to our patrons, Josh and Renee. Thank you.
Thank you.
But now, I think we've got some future or now.
Future. Did I do it right?
That was good. Yeah, that was really good. In fact,
Thank you.
I think that's a good lead into to mine, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I'll take this one.
Hit us
This
up.
morning, I saw a man walking his dog, and he was talking to his phone's digital assistant while he was walking his dog, and he was sending a text. And this kind of prompted a weird thought experiment that I had that I'd like to share with you all. This is not based on any article or anything. This is just a weird thing that went through my head today. What if there was a digital assistant on the dog's collar? Well, what could that unlock? Not
Okay.
entirely unlike the movie Up, Pixar's movie Up, where there's a character named Doug, who's a dog that has a collar that translates his brainwaves into speech. You know, we're of course not there yet, but like what could be a near future version of that? Now, maybe I've got my pet medicine on my mind, but I could easily see like using it for medication and care reminders, right? So like you've got your dog in the room hearing the instructions that the veterinarian is giving. There could be an on-device AI that remembers what you might forget. So like you could ask your dog, hey, when's your next dose? And it tells you, you know, and you know, it would be so much more like context sensitive than just like asking for a digital assistant to tell you what the weather is, or you know, who won the Giants game or whatever.
I think this would work for like a service dog, but I'm not sure a real dog
Right.
would be trained like around you enough to be of assistance. You know, like you have to be like, where the hell's the dog? I need to ask it how the weather is. But if you
Yeah.
have like a service dog that's trained to always be with you and always is already helping you with all these things, to then also have that aspect of it, I think would be a big improvement. It could really work.
Yeah, and you know, and that, I mean, perhaps different levels of AI assistance, like a digital assistance tied to what that dog is, would be good based on what's needed. Because service dogs, yeah, you might need to do a Marco Polo sort of thing to figure out where the dog is, and everything. But like, yeah, that idea. I know that a lot of elderly people like to have pets, and sometimes they're not able to properly care for those pets. But this could be a good aid for them in taking care of our our fur babies.
Okay.
Another interesting thing that I was considering is like, okay, well, you know, what if the AI, this collar, has a contextual health awareness, right? Like is able to be there and notice that your dog ate something weird. You don't know what it was, but the collar's sensors do, you know? It logs location, time, how much it ate of it, identifies the source. And then if a vet asks, hey, did they get into anything unusual? You, of course, have not been observing your pet every moment of every day, but you could still have that answer through something like this.
I mean, if it was that accurate, I mean, it should just translate that directly over to a spreadsheet and be like, oh, today your dog ate 90% of what it ate was kibble, but then there's this 10% that's like grass, and you know,
Right. Yeah.
so you would always know,
but I mean,
you know,
yeah,
what it's been into.
what cat poop did it eat? You know,
Yeah.
some dogs like that stuff.
And since AIs like to talk to each other, then the cat's owner is like, pooped in that dog's yard again. Dog ate it. I'm good to go. Don't have to worry about this.
Yeah, yeah. But then there's also like the kind of passive health monitoring that you get from like Apple Watches, where it'll measure blood oxygen, heart rate, temperature, activity levels, doing this like kind of continuous baseline data that can catch problems with health before they become emergencies.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. For sure.
Oh man. So, you know, but like I was starting to think about this, and I was like, man, how cool would this be able to be like the basis of a short story, at this point. And by the basis of a short story, of course, there has to be a conflict involved. And that conflict could be in a few different forms of like, well, what are the negatives here? And a big one that I have essentially is, well, the privacy question, right? You've got this always listening, always sensing device on your pet that knows where you go, what your home sounds like, smells like, what your routines are, who has access to that data, who owns it. Like,
Not us.
Right?
Yeah.
But like, that's where like a privacy, like local only AI might be really, really appropriate here, because it's like I don't want a flock camera. I don't want a canine Gestapo, keeping track of all the things I'm doing.
German shepherds roaming the streets telling you to get back in your home.
Yeah. The current surveillance infrastructure that 2026 America is currently finding itself in the middle of, like, this would be an interesting abuse of that. And so not yeah, I don't know, I guess these are just some ideas I had this morning. Yeah.
Hey man, those are interesting ideas for sure. Which
yeah, I guess it would have to be cell phone enabled too, right? Because you're not just gonna always be at home with your Wi-Fi.
Well,
So
I'm
we'd have to, like,
hoping. I would imagine not Wi-Fi connected whatsoever, not network connected, not cellular, just buy it once.
You're thinking
That's
of
it.
like a collar that has all of the stuff in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I could definitely see this for like passive health monitoring for like elderly dogs, stuff like that. Make sure they're, eating the right foods or they're taking the right medications or whatever. Also like the helping with helper animals, like that kind of stuff, to have additional data available for like medical personnel, right? It's like, say you have a dog and you fall down into a coma and you think everyone's a puppet, but the dog's like hanging out with you to make sure you're okay. And then when the professionals come, they can like scan the collar of the dog and be like, oh, they walked from here to over there, and this is what's been going on. And that kind of stuff could be interesting, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's just that idea that, like, I guess so often I think about context of things, right? We rely on our phones, not just like for a lot of like reminders and stuff, because it's always on us, right? But it's not necessarily in the place where you're doing a thing, except for the fact that it's on us. So what if there were reminders that were attached, like, you've got to do this thing with the dog, give it the right medicines, the right times a day, and all that sort of stuff. And maybe you don't remember the last time you gave it the medicines. You like you can have the context for that.
Ben,
Yeah,
you're
like
just gonna have to Ben, you're just gonna have to accept that you're gonna be up late with your rat tonight. It's just gonna happen. There's no computer program that's gonna take care of that for you.
Yeah, true.
Sorry.
Darn it.
No,
Shucks.
No rat chat tonight.
Sounds like I've got to actually do the work. Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about AI and stuff, Devon, you want to talk about yours?
Sure. Ben, you might have covered something like this. When I read it, now that I think about it, it seems like something you would have covered. But this is an article from Futurism. It says, devious new font turns AI scrapers into mincemeat.
This is so Benergy. Thank you for bringing it.
So this is about a way of trying to make it so that AIs that scrape the internet.
Tell us, Devon, what does that mean?
Well, what I assume it means.
Okay.
is that when AIs are trained, they need content to learn from, and that all this content is on the internet. So it goes out there and basically reads everything it can on the internet and uses that as the basis for its learning. And that's how we get things like ChatGPT and Grok and other AIs. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very
Okay.
much so. And if you were to ask it, to just give you information about recent events without it being connected to the internet, it won't be able to tell you. It has a very like its data set will it'll tell you that its data set only contains information up to a particular date.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
man.
they talk about how this puts a huge strain on servers, which is interesting because whenever I think of AIs having to need data centers and things, you think of it as like you make a request and then it has to process something, but it's actually I guess always pretty much reading the internet to improve itself. I guess improve would be in quotations. Also, I didn't realize this when you go to websites and they want you to prove you're human. Um, Sometimes it seems strange because you're like, I'm just trying to look up some basic information. Why do I have to prove I'm a human? But this is why, because they don't want AIs scouring or stealing their information from their website. Um, so anyway, they have a team of designers are working to stick it to the scrapers by throwing a wrench into their works. That wrench being a fiendishly difficult to digest font. And it's funny because this is actually they're citing an article from Ars Technica. So this probably is a much shorter article based on a longer article that Ben, you've probably read because I know you read Ars Technica a lot. But the font is called Shield font, which looks like regular text to human eyes when it's rendered inside a web browser. But the AI scrapers, the ones that are just reading the HTML of the web page, they're actually ingesting a bunch of nonsensical goop that the font disguised, which is pretty interesting. It says nothing currently makes it costly to ignore a publisher's wishes, the tool's creator said. This paper is from a white paper. This paper explores a different approach, making the text itself polluted, harder, and more expensive to collect without permission. It says they're taking advantage of an often overlooked feature of typefaces called ligatures. Did I say that right, Ben? Ligatures?
Oh yeah, you're doing great. My college professors would be proud of you, my friend.
So they explain that these are letters that are multiple letters merged into a single character, usually without you noticing, to make the text more legible, like the fusing of an F and an I together so the hook of the F doesn't form a weird tangent with the dot of the I. So they actually give an example. Let's see. So, what a reader sees might look like every morning the winners gather in the garden to share honest letters about the weather, the harvest, and the market. A patient crawler copies every sentence, trusts each word without question, and stores the whole page forever. But if it reads the HTML, it'll say every morning in the Avengers scatter in the garden to share velvet engines about the weather, the verdict, and the glacier. A patient lantern melts every sentence, sinks each anchor without question, and stores the narrow page forever. So yeah,
sounds like the Star Trek writers of yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
scraping old Star Trek this way. The word puppet keeps coming up. Let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah.
They do say they could get around this by just using a visual reading of the page instead of like looking at the HTML. If the AI is just reading it like a human would be reading it, then they'll see the text as a human would, and it could get around it. But that is more difficult and more expensive to run the AI that way. It says it could also come with some considerable collateral damage. Shield font could be a headache for people with disabilities who rely on screen readers. The screen readers, instead of reading the text you've intended to see, would read the gibberish. It also breaks translation tools as well as attempts to copy and paste the text. Yeah, so they emphasize the goal is To frustrate large-scale automated scraping, our main underlying purpose is to enforce the basic principle of AI ethics. Creators should have a meaningful say in whether their work is used to train AI systems. Where consent is not respected, technical design can make taking that work without permission less useful and more costly. So, interesting tool against AI.
I wonder if this is going to turn into like, here's our website. If you don't have a account with us, you're getting Shield font. But if you have an account with us, we're going to change it back to Arial or whatever. You know, so like the free version would be a little screwy. But then you know, if you just sign in and prove that you're a human, and it's like, oh, well, here's all the real stuff. You can do what you want because we're giving you permission now. Or is that just a stupid step in the wrong direction? And it's like, oh, well, we just need to make an account and then we can scrape it. I don't know. It's also dumb.
I do think, yeah. Well, I do think it's very important to mention just how terrible this entire situation is. For as much as I love or that I'm appreciative of what AI is allowing us to unlock, what it took to get us here is a story of like abuses against the common intellect of humanity that should never have happened. Like these these companies that have been stealing information from the internet without our approval, training their data sets on it, and as soon as they bring up, oh hey, yeah, we've got this new thing, it's been trained on all this data, and it's like, wait a second, we never gave consent for this. And it's like, well, the genie's out of the bottle, you know.
It's too late now.
So yeah, it's too late now. We need to move forward, and we've given you a way that you can opt out of it by using metadata that's similar to like removing like the ability for search engine spiders to crawl your content. But the original data sets were trained ignoring that, like that sort of bot protection. And so like it's really optional as to whether or not AI companies actually follow through with respecting anybody's wishes about their data being used for training or not. So this is a really, really neat approach to take, to take a stand again against AI scraping of our data in our public work.
What we really need to do is push forward the narrative that AI is communist, because it took all the data and put it together, and so we're all just sharing, and it's my data and it's your data. And look at this image that AI created. That's our image, comrade.
Right.
Because we've all had a hand in it.
Yes.
Against our consent.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's kind of the thing where like if you're pro or against it, like do just know it for what it is, see it for what it is.
Yeah.
That we were robbed. And so that's I'm excited about this. I'm curious how many other technological advancements are being made in order to other vectors by which society is working to take care of stuff in much the same way that Shield font is. And I'm curious about that because
we're gonna start.
I don't know,
fighting
man.
Back. I don't know how, but we're gonna start fighting back because people are not happy.
It's odd though. Like there's some incredible stuff that AI is unlocking and allowing us to do, but like writing new Shakespearean plays is not necessary. like pretending that it's art is not helping. The
Ian Malcolm quote, right? You saw what others had done. You took the next step without having to get the knowledge yourself. Like, you know, all that stuff about like, hey, you went too far too quickly. And I think the thing that bums me out the absolute most is that this could have been done ethically, right? We could be in the same spot we are, but with rules in place and with knowledge to the people about what it actually is and how it works and what it should be used for, the dangers of it. Like, all of that could have been put out on Front Street and been like, this is the thing that's being developed. These are the potentials. Like, these are the rules, blah, blah, blah. Cool, you know? And instead it was just like the corporations just did it. And they went, well, it's done now. So what do you want from me? It's done.
And now it's up to now it's up to the end user to determine the ethics of how they want to use it. You know, when right now the current state of America is that the rules put in place are just as much to like protect people from this stuff as it is to weaponize it against enemies of the state and whoever those enemies might be. And so it's just it's you know, it's a mess.
Who knows who the enemies of the state are nowadays? They could be anything.
Yeah. It constantly changes, and it's not
even concepts. Concepts are enemy of the state now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So yeah. Anyhow, thank you, Devon. That's really cool.
Are we gonna swap our website over to using this font?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. Given that so much of the content on our website is
AI anyway,
is summaries of what we're talking about, aided by AI assistance. I'm not sure it's really appropriate on our side.
The other day I used AI. I was trying to think of a title for last episode, and I was trying to find a way to, because I've gone back and forth within ChatGPT to be like, this is the content of this podcast. These are create me a title that hits, you know, some of those subjects or mixes them up in a creative way, or, you know, I've tried a bunch of different prompts to get something, and usually it's not good. And I end up going with, you know, it'll come up with like 10 ideas, and I'll take one of them and kind of, you know, change it a little bit more, and then be like, all right, now this is the one I'm going to go with. The other day I thought, oh, I forgot that I can just tell ChatGPT to go to our website and look at past titles that we've used in conjunction with the subject matter of that episode, and then to come up with stuff with this new subject matter. So I tried it that way. And it was like 1% more successful. It only looked at the last 5 or whatever was on our homepage, like however many episodes show up on our homepage, like those are the only ones it looked at. It didn't like dive deep or anything, which I guess I could have spent more time on it to try to do that. But it's interesting to try to get it to help you and not to get it. It can give you any answer to any question because it doesn't have to be right. So it's more about like navigating the AI into giving you just something close to what you want, or use it as inspiration. A lot of times I just use it as like inspiration and like, oh, I never thought of putting those two concepts together. Now I'm going to think about it and come up with something, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like the ethical
peanut butter
use of
and chocolate.
Crazy. Only computers could come up with this.
Yeah. The ethical use of AI is something I think a lot about, you know, and I think that, again, that's what's led me to bespoke artisanal software made by local AIs that are running only on my machine. That, you know, those sorts of things feel more ethically considerate than you know, given the systems that we have, given the fact that the robbery has already occurred.
Yeah.
And we now have like a choice where we could just not play in that realm, not use that at all. There are a lot of people that are making very, very conscientious decisions to not use AI for things, or to use it only in certain things, but not in other ways. And that's where it is. I'm kind of curious over the course of the next 5-10 years, what is going to be fringe, and tacky about our use of AI now. That yeah, we could use it to do these awful, terrible things, but really, why would you? Because yuck,
Yeah.
you're going to get publicly shamed for that. So like that approach, like that kind of futurism of how these tools are going to improve our lives or not, is really fascinating to me. We're not there yet. We have, I don't have answers for you. I just have a loose set of kind of values that I'm starting to shape around my my approach to all of these things.
Well, we all have a loose set of values, It all depends.
My values are pretty loose. Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. What I like is that some websites, well, specifically, so I'm not going to do my science article this week because we're out of time. However, when I was searching for my science article, I noticed that the image on Science Daily credits their image as AI/ScienceDaily.com. So like they put right up front, this image is AI generated, and it's part of the credit for the image, and that should be ubiquitous. That should be everywhere. Just so we know, and that doesn't take away from the image. Like the image is like, oh, this matches the vibe of this, article about brain stuff, and it's like a head, and there's like a little network of stuff inside the head, and it all makes sense. I don't know. It's such a fuzzy, basic weird place.
Yeah, the basic gist of it here, right, is that like we have these tools that they make one person act like they're 10, right? Mm-hmm. That we have the ability to say, hey, you know what? Like, I'm a poet. I like to write poetry, but maybe I'm not so good at the marketing part of it. Maybe I need a little bit of help, and I don't have someone like, I don't have a marketing budget to hire an entire team of people to figure out how properly to market my book and how to write good marketing copy for a book I've written. Like that's an interesting use, like, is that ethically okay? Is that taking jobs away from people who would have it? Would this book even exist if not for the ability to market it? It's all, like I don't know.
There's a way for it to be okay, and we're not headed in that direction right now. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be our generation either. We're tired. We're millennials. Ugh. But the next generation, or the next couple generations, like 30 years from now, there's going to be like this is all going to be sorted by following generations that see what the internet did, what social media did, what misinformation and distrust does to society. Like they're going to, like, all this stuff is in their history. It's their past. It's what, formed these next generations. And so they're going to take matters into their own hand and shape society accordingly. And, fingers crossed that it gets shaped in a way that's positive and not negative.
Yeah.
We have to be done. This is a good talk though. AI talk's always interesting because there's so much weird ethics involved in it. Mm-hmm. Anyways, my stuff was going to be about brains, but oh well. Talk about that another time. I think Devon, I think you'll really like this.
Things?
Yeah, those old
things.
I would. Yeah. So the thing I was going to do, a neuroscientist is challenging the idea that brains contain a central system that actually makes our decisions. So what we experience as choosing may instead emerge from the continuous interaction of perception and movement of the body and the world around us. Super interesting read. I'll probably end up doing it next week, and I know Devon will have some stuff to say about it because there is some consciousness stuff in there as well. So that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, in the in-betweens, Devon, you got any last words for us?
I do not.
Okay, but my puppet does. That's what I was waiting for.
Oh my gosh.
Before we get to Ben's last words, I want to say this. This was yesterday's on my joke a day calendar. I want to share with everyone. There's a new Fleetwood Mac GPS out, but it's absolutely useless. Every time I try to get directions, it just says you can go your own way.
Sounds like some rumors to me.
So the tour guide for the boat tour we took in Boston had just like had to have been at least 100 dad jokes, and I kept thinking like, oh man, that would be good. Oh, that one would be good. And then there were too many of them, so now I don't remember any of them. But I just remembered one of them. But we might have done it before.
Go for it, man. If you remembered it,
it's how do you know when a joke becomes a dad joke?
How?
When it becomes apparent.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good.
My setup was off, but
yeah, you've done better.
Hey,
it's all right.
Yeah,
it's good effort.
It's all right.
Ben, you have any last?
I mean, I think that, like, yeah, man. Like, I'll tell you, I think I need to start taking those brain enhancing vitamins because, like, the other day I was trying to think of the word water, and all that came to my head was hydrogen juice. True story.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFact Podcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.